सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. So we were studying about independent happiness. And so what is dependent happiness? Dependent happiness is the happiness we get when things go the way we want them to go. Independent happiness is our capacity to not be affected no matter what happens. Now, dependent happiness is good. There's no problem with it. Whenever you can get it, please enjoy it. But please also understand that it's not possible to have it at all times. And therefore, if you want to maintain some equipoise in life, it will become imperative to be able to train ourselves into independent happiness. Now, people want different sorts of things happening in their world. Some seek sensual pleasures. Sensual pleasures means pleasures of the senses. That means to eat, to drink, to hear, to see. The pleasure that you get out of the senses, to touch. Some people want that kind of thing. Some people want emotional pleasures. Emotional pleasures means people should be nice to me. I should feel nice to be with you. I don't like any form of harshness. Like all nice, everything. So emotional pleasures. And then there are intellectual satisfactions. Intellectual satisfaction maybe you get out of understanding how this world works, or science, or mathematics, or whatever, any information that you collect gives you an intellectual satisfaction. All of these pleasures we are pursuing, running after, chasing. And we believe it is our right to do so. Okay, that's fine. Of course, it's our right to do so. I'm free to do with my life whatever I want. While, everyone says it's my right, I can do it. That's fine. It is your right and you can do it. But it's not a formula for happiness. That is what we have to understand. Everyone is free to do whatever they want. Who can take our individual freedoms away from us? But that's not the way you will achieve happiness. That's what's critical to understand. So the moment you tell anyone, oh no, this is not the right way, they'll say, how dare you tell me? This is my way, and I have the liberty to do whatever I want. Of course, you have the liberty to do what you want, but please enlighten choices. Choices based on knowledge, not choices based on ignorance. So then the other problem we have with it is that when we are in pursuit of independent happiness, we seem to think that, oh, we have to somehow deny all the pleasures, all the dependent pleasures. We shouldn't have them. There's no reason. Please have them. If somebody is giving you a nice chocolate, please eat it. What is the problem? If someone is giving you a comfortable bed or a comfortable pillow, please use it. What's the problem? The problem doesn't lie in these pleasurable sensations. The problem lies in the fact that we are creating immense likes and dislikes. When we enjoy something, we don't say, oh, this is enjoyable, period. We have some big tamasha about it afterwards. Okay, so if you create such strong likes and dislikes, please understand that getting them fulfilled is not a guarantee you have. You just don't have that guarantee. What you are guaranteed, you cannot guarantee that the object is there. Nobody has given you that guarantee. Nobody has given you that assurance. But you can guarantee one thing. What is the thing you can guarantee? That at least you all should know. What is the one thing you can guarantee in your life?
My action.
Sometimes you may not even be able to guarantee that.
My happiness?
Not happiness. Now that is what we are studying. We have the only one guarantee in life that you can be happy. Everything else is not guaranteed. This is guaranteed. However, this is the first thing we lose. That's the irony of life. So, let's go further. Anyone? Gunjan, are you new? Gunjan? Gunjan Sani, are you new?
Yes, Shanti.
Okay, first time?
So I've attended your classes, I mean, year back also.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. So you know that we are studying this book currently, The Happiness Guarantee, you know that?
Yeah, yeah.
And we are on page 20. Okay, now who is P and who is iPad? I don't know. If you all are new, Gunjan, since you already attended, you know that if something's not clear, please feel free to ask. So
Okay,
far, so good, Gunjan.
Yes, yes.
And P, iPad, who are y'all? I don't. If y'all are new, please feel free to ask if you don't understand anything. If you're old, then you should be putting your name so I know who you are. Right. So remember where let's start from the beginning. We may get what we want or we may not get it. We having got it, we may be able to keep it or we may not be able to keep it. No guarantee. What can be guaranteed is your happiness. Since that can be guaranteed, let us focus on that. Everything else cannot be guaranteed. But we would rather not examine our likes and dislikes. We insist on them being, we would not examine it means we do not pause with the like and dislike. Suppose I say, I like chocolate. I do not question this at all. What I do is I immediately go out to get chocolate. But we would not examine our likes and dislikes. We insist on them being catered to immediately. No, I'm not even going to investigate whether this is good or bad for me. I just want it. That's it. Why? We insist on them being catered to immediately because their non-availability is uncomfortable and sorrow is repugnant to beings. No being wants sorrow. So if you don't get your like or dislike fulfilled immediately, you experience sorrow. So your instinct is to run from the sorrow to the joy. Every living being, that's the instinct. We insist on them being catered to immediately because their non-availability is uncomfortable and sorrow is repugnant to beings. We will not let ourselves experience the slightest discomfort. On our own, we will never take on discomfort. But taking on discomfort is the whole trick of life. We just don't seem to get that. If you don't take on your discomfort, you are going to be given discomfort. So you better take it on yourself. We will not let ourselves experience the slightest discomfort. We hide from it. If we accept the small sorrows, maybe we will avoid bigger ones. You accept the small discomfort that comes from not for chasing your likes and dislikes, and then we avoid bigger ones. We dodge small potholes only to land in the ditch. The small discomfort we want, but then we land in the big one. We ignore the pinch of a small debt and run instead into financial failure. When there's a small debt, you just want to ignore it. Then what will happen? Financial failure. We shrug off the red flags in a relationship and head into a complete breakdown. You don't realize you're not doing the right things. The red flags are coming, but you're not attending to it because attending to it is uncomfortable. You hurt somebody, that person is angry with you. You don't say sorry because it's uncomfortable. Then what happens? After some time, it gets covered. So many things are happening. All these small things we don't notice, and then bang, something happens. We shrug the red flags in a relationship and head into a complete breakdown. Remember Bill and Melinda Gates? They were such a supposedly good couple. And everybody was so surprised when they decided to go their separate ways. Not against going their separate ways, but what amount of red flags were sort of ignored before this stage came about? We mask the mutterings of petty guilt only to land into a full jail term. You do something illegal and you feel a little bad, but you mask it. You don't want to deal with it. And then next thing you know, you're in jail. We mask the mutterings of petty guilt only to land into a full jail term. We shrug off the niggling bodily discomfort and then wham, some major issue. Life seems to give us so many warnings, which we sadly ignore. The message is symbolically indicated in the form of the Hindu deity Ch1.13 Vishnu. Ch1.13 means four-armed. Indian iconography represents Lord Vishnu's forearms holding a conch, a lotus, a mace, and a discus. I don't know if you have seen it. Mari, have you seen Vishnu's forearms? This representation communicates a deep philosophy, a law of life. Listen to the soft voice of the conscience within. That is the conch, and it leads to happiness. That's your first number. Listen to the conch. The conch is this soft sound inside, but you can hear it only if you put it to your ear. You can't hear it otherwise. So listen to that soft voice, and it leads you to happiness, which is the lotus. The lotus symbolizes complete bliss. If you choose to ignore it. Follow instead the call of likes and dislikes, and receive the blows of the mace, signifying the beatings and difficulties of life. So you don't listen to that, and you go, dham, 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 you'll get. You know, like Tom and Jerry cartoons, how it goes, dham, 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 for waxing, like that. Ignore the message of the mace too, then meet self-destruction. After being beaten also, you're not coming to the right path. What will happen? It's like, first you listen to the right thing, then you eat the right food, do the right exercise, blah, blah, you do that. If you don't do it, you're a healthy person, you're happy. If you don't do it, what happens? You will feel some aches and pains and something. So you go to your doctor says, you better start going for a walk every day. Now you ignore that also. And then you'll end up in a full whatever heart attack or whatever it is in the world that comes out of it. So that's what he's trying to say. Ignore the message of the mace too, then meet self-destruction. That is the deadly chakra. the chakra of Vishnu that chops off all the demons' heads. Hence, it would be sensible to be aware of the initial disturbance within and remedy at the outset. Right in the beginning, remedy before it's a full-blown disease. Right? So this is clear. So there's dependent and independent happiness. Dependent happiness means that I have to get what I want and then I'm going to be happy. Independent happiness means I can be happy even without it. But today I cannot be happy without it because
Because we can't bear to be uncomfortable by not having it.
yes. So what is causing that discomfort?
We haven't been aware of the early warnings.
Yes. So what were those early warnings?
Voice of the conscience.
No, warnings. What is that thing you have to be aware of? Why?
I'm running after my likes and dislikes.
My likes and dislikes. Your likes and dislikes are what is going to be causing you all the pain in the world.
Yeah, so it's the lack of investigation which we have to look into.
Yes. The likes and dislikes are going to create chaos in your life. But are we taking them as a danger signal? No, we take them as, oh, that is what I want. That is how it should be. Even ulta direction. You're treating the enemy as the friend. What do you think is going to come out of that? So, understand that the problem with our life is that we have these unexamined likes and dislikes. That is why having a teacher is very, very uncomfortable because the teacher whacks you on your likes and dislikes and then everybody runs for the film, Papa, leave me alone. Yeah, Reshma.
So when we say we should be aware of things from the start, I mean, that doesn't sound feasible or practical because things do change over a period of time, right? So it's not
What is it you're supposed to be aware of?
that I'm following my likes and dislikes.
So what's the problem with that?
So like, for example, when we say red flags in a relationship, like things may not have always been like that from the start. Like things could have changed over a period of time, right?
Right. But why are you following your likes and dislikes? When these changes take place, no? The problems arise only because we are following our likes and dislikes. I want it in a particular way. And if I don't get that, I'm going to be very upset. And I encourage this in myself. So let's say you and your mother are having, there's a mother-daughter relationship. Now, over a period of time, maybe the mother can change, daughter can change. All this is all possible. But the problem is generated because my likes and dislikes are like a cage that I live in. And so I'm not able to, what shall I say, go with the flow. I'm not able to accommodate, adjust, tolerate, flow with things as they are. There are some people, they are in traffic, they behave, my God, like the world is coming to an end. It's just traffic. Sooner or later, it will get over. Just bear with it. No, but 2 hours I was in traffic. Okay, 2 hours. And 2 hours get over, right? Just chill. But you're not able to what should I say? Adapt to whatever is there because the likes and dislikes are like a cage. It's a difference between water and ice. Water takes the form of whatever is there. And the terrain changes. It just goes along with whatever that terrain is. It is heading to the sea. That the water is doing. Okay, that the river is doing. That it's clear about. But now what is the terrain and how it's going to move? All like it just adapts itself to the terrain. But ice, no way. Ice will go down, punch, punch, punch. Because it's solidified.
Yeah,
So another nice example that comes to mind that I read is the trees that know how to bend during the storm will survive, and the ones who they don't know how to bend will break down. So it's better to just be adjusting.
Right. And whatever, there are times the tree has to stand up erect. There are times it has to sway. There are times it has to bend. If it says, I only like to stand up straight, or I only like to bend, it can't work like that. So you have to, so I don't know what word to use because these words are so used and then they're often misunderstood. So adjust, tolerate, adapt. When we say this, then people say, oh, he's treating me so badly. Have I got to just put up with it? Nobody's telling you to put up with it. Deal with that situation as it presents itself to you. If he is behaving badly, deal with it as it presents itself to you. Do not say, oh, but I don't like to be rude to anyone. This situation may require you to be rude. So deal with the situation as it presents itself to you. Is that clear, Reshma?
So, like that line which is written, is it about that if you identify the red flags, you're supposed to assess where am I going wrong? Because the relation may or may not last despite that.
What is the red flag?
That I'm following my likes and dislikes.
Oh.
Right. So when I notice that, I need to assess that, right?
Right.
Because whatever is going to happen in that relation will happen. That may or may not be under my control.
Yes. But I can adjust myself to that relationship. And go along with that relationship to the extent that I can conquer my likes and dislikes. I mean, people may change and become different, but they don't go from being a loving parent to a hating parent, right? That's not what's happening. What happens is, okay, my mother used to make my dabba for me every morning, but now she's busy and she's not making. Mari dabba means their box of food, the Indian version of the bento box. So here, all the mothers are very dedicated and they make everybody. They make their children, even when the children are 40 years, they're still making their dabbas for them. So at 40, maybe the mother decides one day that, oh, I've had it, I'm going to go work and I'm not making a dabba for you anymore. So that's the kind of stuff that happens. So you have to adjust to this. You cannot say, you're my mother, you have to make the dabba. You have been making it for so many years. Okay, that was then, this is now, get on with it. Or you can negotiate with your mother, mom, please, make this dabba. And if you make this dabba, then I will clean the vessels every night. Negotiate. But deal with the situation as it presents itself to you.
So does that qualify as a red flag?
Yes, of course. It qualify means when the relationship is going well, the fact that you have so many strong likes and dislikes is the first red flag. You're assuming that something has gone wrong, and that's the red flag. That is a later stage. We are talking about the earlier stage.
Oh, this is something else only then.
No,
We're not talking about the same type of red flags.
Yeah, okay. Right. So let's start again. The examples are given to make it more understandable. Like when you have a red flag, deal with it then. Okay, those examples are only to show this. But our bigger point is not those red flags. Our bigger point is the fact that you have likes and dislikes is itself the original red flag that you have to be very, very conscious of. And as a spiritual sadhak, my God, you have to be very, very acutely aware of that fact.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for clarifying.
Mahesh?
So, I mean, it's okay to function on your, I mean, not function, but say you have a like or a dislike. So if your intellect allows you to go along that like or dislike, that's okay, right? mean, it's not that so you can function on your likes and dislikes under the governance of your intellect. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
In theory. The problem with it is all of us believe that our intellect has given this permission. Then one day what happens is when that like and dislike is not met, then all hell breaks loose in our life. For instance, your intellect allows you to put on the air conditioner when you're feeling hot. According to you, I'm feeling hot. I want the air conditioner. And your intellect says, fine, you can afford it. You can put it on. According to you. But is it really a full-fledged intellectual decision? You will know this when
There's no AC.
It's too cold and you wake up.
no, when it's too hot and there is no electricity. Then you will know how much your intellect has been guiding this action. Because the day the intellect tells you that no, today it's not for you, will you stop? When the intellect is saying yes to your likes and dislikes, full steam ahead. When the intellect is saying no, stop. That will tell you whether in the past your intellect has been used or not used. Okay, Mahesh?
So, but there's no other way you can function, right? I mean, there's no, I mean, if that's what your intellect tells you, you have done the needful, and maybe it's wrong, but
No,
there's
you
no
haven't
other.
done the needful. You have merely justified your likes and dislikes to yourself. I mean, I'm not saying you have. I'm saying if you have, then when the time comes, you will not be happy when the AC is not working. It's so easy to justify our likes, and human beings have a special talent in this. It is amazing. I have never found a person who says, this is my like, and that's why I am doing it, and I'm an idiot for doing it. Everybody says, this is what I think I should do, and this is the reasons I should do it. And nobody has a reason to not do what they want to do. It's an amazing thing.
No, I had told him that keep it under wraps about 3 days.
Right. No, but all I'm going to say is that at that situation, at point of time, could I have done anything different than buying the AC? I mean, could I have, I mean, what if, I mean, if my intellect came to that decision, then do I have to question my intellect itself? Is the intellect functioning on likes and dislikes again? As you have another intellect questioning that?
It's the same intellect. A weak intellect is always awake to the fact that the mind is a cheeky creature. In the Christian theology, you should see how the devil is described. He comes to you in so many different forms. And it's a very good, what should I say, word picture of the capacity of the mind to convince you that whatever it wants is the right thing to have. If this was not true, would people be killing people in the name of religion? Killing them. Like, in what world is your religious textbook telling you that you need to go kill somebody? And innocent people standing on the road, you say, no, my religion says I have to go kill them. Hello? Like, who thinks that? Who questions what they want? Never do. And we must see that. It is a ticking time bomb. Who questions when you think anything? Whoever says, am I thinking this correctly? Am I wanting this correctly? That step back If in today's class you even understand that there is a step back, itself is a big step. Because our starting point is this is the right thing. That's our starting point. After that, everything fits. But that starting point is where the flaw lies. Though their beaks are pointed and my beak is rounded, is there any reason that I would be drowned? Though their beaks are pointed and my beak is round, is there any reason why I would be drowned? Okay, Mahesh?
So you have to understand your mind before you use your intellect. I mean, the deviousness of the mind has to be well understood in these matters, right? Because you kind of have taken decisions before and then realize. So it's a sort of, you have to do an introspection of your mind so that you know its nature and its the way it functions. Okay.
And that is called using your intellect.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Taruna.
Janki ji, sorry.
1 second, Taruna had.
Janki ji, in this example of AC, does that mean that your mind wanted something and your mind only is justifying? Their intellect didn't play at all. Does that mean that? Because
it plays in a very narrow sense, in the sense of I want it, but I have learned enough Vedanta that I must do things on reason. So my intellect has been conscripted to provide the reason, and it has provided the reason. There is no actual intellect. Like the chick, you remember the chick? The chick's intellect is thinking, though their beak is pointed and my beak is round, is that any reason why I would be drowned? What silly things my mother says.
so it's just the justification, not the logic applied, not the. So, in this particular situation, what is the right usage of intellect?
The right usage is always the same thing. You have to decide what you're trying to achieve and decide whether this action is going to help you achieve that. That is why you can't have an intellect really without a goal. You have to have some goal, whatever, short term, long term, kuch to goal hai. And then at least there's some hope that you are able to see that this is not really an action that is justified at the moment. And you will see yourself like as if on skis, rushing down a slope that you have no business to be rushing, and you'll see yourself crashing, and you understand what happened. And you may see this happen many, many times before you realize that, okay, I'm getting off this bandwagon. I don't know. You know, in this slopes of Switzerland, I don't know where else it is, the icy slopes, and they have these sledges and they leave you down and go. I refused to get on that. I thought, oh my God, what is this? So I refused to get. But Farouk, who's very adventurous, decided that he will be let down on that sledge. I watched in horror because of what is this, right? So that sledge was such a good time. I mean, he reached safely, and the story is not ending badly. He reached safely, had a great time, all of that. But it's just so like the mind. It goes moving down that slope. And you just need something in the way to crash. Now, these sledges, they're all protected and nothing is coming in the way. That is fine. But in our life, that's not what happens. Something has to come in the way. And then we've had it. It's like you're sleeping and driving. Well, you'll drive properly. The car is going on. But the road has to turn, something has to come in the way. That's when the problem starts. So we all think that we're doing very well. They're sleeping and driving. I mean, they're in the car, they're fast asleep. Everything is going smooth. You don't realize, it's just a question of time.
So having a goal is important. That is the ultimate thing, so that your intellect will.
Nothing is ultimate, unfortunately. There is, you have to stay awake, you have to stay alert. But yes, the goal will help you. Your morning studies will help you. It will keep you largely on track. But if does anything of this say for certain you'll not do anything stupid? None of this. It is what should I say? It is a human condition. And if this condition was not there, then we would all be like King Janaka only. What is the problem? So
despite having a goal, your mind can take you to a ride. And we believe, and then we will be thinking that we are applying our intellect, and then it is still a justification or any different thing.
That is why they constantly emphasize satsang, the company of the good, satsang. Because if you keep yourself within a good set of whatever, of people, of music, of movies, keep a good set, then it is possible that when you're doing something absolutely idiotic, which you're not able to see, somebody else may see it, or some movie might remind you. If you see like all these horrible TV serials, they give you impetus to do wrong things. You know, people say, I saw this, they do a rob a bank or something, and they say, I saw it on television. So people say, or a movie or something. So people say, oh, we should ban those movies. You can ban the movies. But you can have some self-restraint in keeping yourself in the company of the good as far as possible, in the hope that, I mean, none of these are surefire, because the buck stops with each individual. You have to take that responsibility and do it as best you can, because that's what makes you a human being. And you could be wrong, knowing fully well you could be wrong. But that's the best you can see at the moment. And if you do it the right way, then that ability grows. And there's less and less possibility of going wrong. However, that's the story of Sage Vishwamitra, that you cannot ever let down your guard. When Menaka has to come dancing, you're done.
So there are sometimes we can see that we are obviously following our likes and dislikes, but the example like the AC thing, it seems logical. So there are many such things where we think that this is reasonable and this is logical. So how to again check them in context to your goal, you have to check it.
You know, if you are doing your sadhana and you're part of the karma yoga and all of that, then there's slight improvement, because what happens is now we'll go for bhumi pujan of the plot. Wahan to koi AC वैसी milega nahi, right? If you are dedicated to it, then you will want to go. I mean, if you're dedicated and nothing else is there, you will want to go. Then you will go there. You will experience maybe discomfort because you're so used to a particular temperature. Now, what will you do? Will you pay more attention to the fact that you are with the goal, or more importance to the discomfort? Right? And these are the choices, small choices we keep making, which really talk about our goal. Like suppose you're going to the gym every day. Today the gym doesn't have AC. Now what will you do? You say, no, I think I have to do this, and I am doing it.
Right.
So you have good reason to do an action, and you are able to execute it.
Right. When we test ourselves, then we come to know.
Yeah, you can't keep on distrusting yourself, but you have to say that, no, in this condition, I guess, grin and bear it. Kya kar sakte hain?
Right. Thank you.
Who else? Has anyone else called Deepak Sethi? You still have something, or it's done?
No, sorry, you are absolutely right. I have nothing left now because the points have got covered in your conversation with Taruna. I just wanted to remind ourselves that if you remember in the last class, I had asked this question about the masked intellect, that, very often it's a contaminated intellect, which is really mind-led, but it makes us feel, which is the chick's example per se. And I remember you had said three things, which you have now again said it in a different way. That one you had said is that this can happen. Just realize that. Despite anything, it can happen. Secondly, I may not be able to prevent it. And have the humility to understand that you're not all that powerful, etc. But having said that, as you correctly said today, what will help you to, quote unquote, increase the hit rate of success or keep it under check to the extent possible is the early morning study, satsang, and a goal, which kind of like the AC example, that if the goal is more important, etc. So these are facilitators, but absolute certainty is a pipe dream.
Yes.
And all that has got covered in the subsequent conversation with Taruna.
Surekha?
Hariom Janki ji. Coming back to the question that Reshma had asked about the red flags, is it advisable or is it possible that when we are in a state of so-called happiness, comfort, etc., our antenna should go up and see what is it that is creating this happiness? And probably the red flag could also be when you're in a state of extreme happiness, comfort, whatever, to kind of determine that if this were not there, would I still be happy? Could a red flag that way be identified?
Not really, because sometimes the mind overthinks things also. If you're happy, just be happy, life is good. But what you have to remember, what each one of us has to remember is, happy or not, I have to keep doing what I'm supposed to do. My morning study will go on, my karma yoga will go on, my whatever I'm doing is going on. Happy or not, happy is great. So I don't need to overthink the happiness. I have to focus on what I'm doing. If I'm happy, very good. If I'm not happy, well, so be it. But this is what I'm doing and I do it. Morning, I get up, I study, I do my exercises, blah, blah, whatever it is that. Happy or not, this continues. So you don't have to examine the happiness, because happiness is like a flower. Don't have to go and keep poking at it till it dies. It's happy, great, wonderful, I'm happy. But I'm going to continue doing my sadhana. That's what's important.
And that is applicable even in the relationships we have.
So, because if it's good, enjoy, have fun. But have fun means then continue doing the right things. Don't get arrogant in it. Maintain humility.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, something.
So going along with Taruna's question, so if the intellect becomes stronger, so that way it seems, is it right to say that your inner conscious voice gets louder, so the one that always talks inside you, and more the stronger your intellect gets, it doesn't let you ignore it. Initially, I think when mind is stronger, you tend to ignore that inner voice, which we call. So that's what they say, how did your conscious allow it? So if it's more and more strong, it's hard to ignore. Is that right to say that's basically telling that your intellect is getting stronger, that it's not letting you, that not cross that Lakshman Rekha or that?
Not really, because the mind can take over at any level of growth. That's Vishwamitra, na? He's one of the Saptarishis. And he falls for her, like Menaka dancing. It makes no sense. Like, if you really think of that story, it's like impossible, and the story itself says it's impossible. Because what was that? Before Menaka comes on the scene, Ramba, who's supposed to be the most beautiful of the Apsaras, has already come there and tried to get his attention. And he was sitting in meditation or whatever he was doing. And then he sort of whacks his thigh and dust comes up. And out of that dust, he throws and creates 100 Rambas or something like that. Showing that this is all nonsense for him, right? And so now Indra tells Urvashi, now you go. So Urvashi says, you must be joking. I'm not going. He has already, done this with Rambha. If I go, I'm definitely going to get cursed. So, so Indra says, don't worry. I will send with you Vasanta and what is it? Kamadev. Right. So now what has he got? He has got desire and a conducive environment. This is a deadly thing. He has got desire, conducive environment, and the most wonderful sense object. Finished. Gone. So, but at what stage is this? He's about to become one of the Saptarishis. This is all to prevent him from, he's become Raj Rishi, and Indra is trying to prevent him from becoming the Brahma Rishi. But that stage, how? Like if someone comes and dances in front of us, are we going to even we want, so forget him. Then how is this even possible? Somebody comes and dances and you go, no. Then we're like mad over what we want to do that. So these exaggerated stories are only to warn us, careful, 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 careful. Anything can happen. Because the more you can handle, the more difficult will be the challenge coming to you.
So it'll be two-part question. So one, again, even Ravan, is it right to think that it's your voice inside you? It's the fight that always mind and intellect. So mind being Ravan and intellect being Ram, it's always going on. So whenever the intellect wins, it's as they say, truth prevails. So it's constantly that we do deal in life like that. But with the Vishwamitra story, then it's scary at the point, then what is our shield against it at that point? It's just hoping that our buddhi is Krishna buddhi or Ram, like intellect is so strong that even 10-headed Ravan we are able to fight.
Well, your best bet is your morning study. Morning study, satsang, humility. Like humility in the sense, not like saying, "Main kuch nahi," not that kind of humility, but that humility to understand that, my intellect isn't of a self-realized person, so I got to take this easy. I will be careful. So all these things are helpful, but the responsibility is always the individual. The responsibility is with each one of us individually. And either we do it or we won't. Sorry if that's totally unhelpful, but what do I say?
It just feels like it's the snakes and ladder game. You never know when you're gonna come down. So,
but the fact that you know it is your best defense. That don't ever become complacent. And that's why in the academy, you're not allowed to teach for years and years after study. Because after study, the first 1 or 2 years, you're like God. You think you know everything and you're top of the world. And then you have to meet life and get knocked down a bit before you realize that you are not God after all. Just take a chill pill. So this is just knowing that these are not easy things. If it was so easy, we'd all have self-realized people just walking around us, We don't have that.
the take back from the whole conversation, never let your guard down. Just keep polishing till the end, right? Or until you realized. Okay, thank you.
Right. So independent happiness. And independent happiness is you will be happy regardless of what happens. This is not possible because of
following likes and dislikes.
Because our likes and dislikes are so strong, and they become strong because we follow them. So if you have a like or a dislike, it's your first red flag. That look, I am sitting on a time bomb. It doesn't mean I have to not have things that I like. If I like a mango, it shouldn't be that I don't have it. Nothing like that. If I like a soft pillow, then I should have a hard pillow. You don't have to do any funny things like that. But you have to recognize that at the moment, my comfort is on all these things, which is also fine. But if a time comes that I won't have it for some reason, my life should continue normal. That is called independent happiness. We are not denying the pleasure. We're not saying, oh, I should not touch these pleasures. We're just saying, should they not be available to me, I cannot crumble. I will continue to be me. Yes, Mahesh.
So are likes and dislikes the only things we have to master for independent happiness, or is there any other factor?
The base is always likes and dislikes, and then these likes and dislikes don't stay as likes and dislikes. There's a ladder of all, right? They all grow into multiple things. So it doesn't stay as likes and dislikes. As you encourage them, they are shape changers. They'll become other things. So everything,
Strong desires.
anger, greed, jealousy, hundreds of permutations and combinations will come out of it. You like something very much, you like a person very much. That person talks to somebody else, and you have jealousy. Now, when you're jealous, what will you do? You will not say, I'm an idiot. I created a strong like, now I am jealous. What will I say? Oh, look at that horrible woman. But why is she horrible? Because you're feeling jealous. So it metamorphizes into other things, but the base is always this.
Because we do say, I will be happy only if I get that, the greatest fiction. So even that could be a sort of detriment to independent happiness, right? Because you think that if I got that, I will be.
That is. But then if I get that, I will be happy means if my likes and dislikes are satisfied, I will be happy. When I say get that, what is that thing? The thing I like. It's the same thing. It's all permutations and combinations of the same thing.
Okay, thank you.
Deepak Sethi?
Yeah, Janaki, you just now observed that should they not be there, this is in line with your definition of independent happiness. Should they not be there, we should not crumble. Yeah. Now, this one can relate to, which is to say that I will not crumble should it not be there, quote unquote. The AC was not there in the interior area, etc. But the extension of that is, well, I will not crumble, but I will still not be happy because I'm happy when the AC is there. Now, is that then independent happy? Is the independent happiness that you don't crumble, or is the independent happiness that you do not get, meaning your happiness level remains, absolutely at the same level? There is no drop of 1 or 2 notches or whatever it is.
It's a ladder. It doesn't start with being completely happy at the thing. But first thing is, let's not crumble. Second thing is, let us take it in our stride. It's a ladder. You slowly go up. Some people, I know this because I meet people who have gone through fairly bad thing in their life. And it is almost impossible. What can you say to them at that stage? Our best bet is we don't come to that stage. So step number 1 is don't come to a stage where you have crumbled. Now, how can you give somebody an advice like that? It'll be so silly, right? You can't say don't crumble. That person is crumbling now, what to do? So if that past has been like that, what will happen? So let's keep at least that much control over our likes and dislikes that we don't crumble. Now, whether we crumble or not will become a function between how much was interrupted. How strong is the like and dislike, and how much got, and how bad was the situation. So the function of these two things, suppose it's a very strong like and dislike, let us say, and the situation is terrible, there is no way that person is not going to come. So please try to avoid at least that much, because you cannot determine how bad the situation will be. There are people who were only had to stay at home during COVID. That's it. The family was okay, they were okay, money was okay, they had food supplies. There was no problem other than the fact that they had to stay at home. They crumbled with it. Now, for them, if that like and dislike is very strong and the situation is like COVID, What's going to happen? This is a natural causal relationship. They will come. So, in answer to your question, your first goal is I'm not crumbling under any circumstance. Then come the better ones. Now, not under any circumstance means we don't know how bad that circumstance is going to get.
Very clear. Thank you so much.
We never know how bad it's going to get.
Which is why no scope for complacency. Have the humility that I may, but I strengthen myself with the practices we've talked about. And that's our best insurance.
Yes. Maria Mali, does that mean that any person on medical treatment has dependent happiness? No, why is that so? Because you could be on medical treatment. There are people who are beyond treatment and they're still very happy people.
Yeah. I was thinking about your example when suddenly there is no electricity anymore and so no air conditioning. If you are on a day-to-day medical treatment, which you have to take for a good health, and for instance, you're on holiday, you forgot the medicine, or there is no provision of the medicine anymore, then you get like, yeah, a kind of panic because of that. So this is dependency also.
Yes, but it depends on what. I mean, suppose it's a cholesterol medicine and they forgot to take their cholesterol medicine. Now it's bad enough that you forgot your cholesterol medicine. But on the other hand, by getting worked up about it, you're just making that situation even worse, right? So if I don't get worked up, then I think, okay, what can I do? Can I order it online? What can I do over here? And I work with that rather than, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh, it's not come.
Yeah, so it means that even if you have something which you seem to depend on, like a medication, you can still reach the independent level of happiness.
Yes, of course, because sometimes you may not, that thing which you're dependent on may not be available to you. So you will be going through discomfort, and since you are going through discomfort, you'll still do the best you can under that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was interesting for me in the professional context too. Yeah.
Yeah, Gunjan. And of course, none of this will hold true for mental ailments, of course.
No, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Gunjan.
So I wanted to ask, when we make some long-term goals, we tend to consider our likes and dislikes. So if we should not make our goals based on our likes and dislikes, so what should be the basis of our goals?
Goals will have to be on the basis of likes and dislikes, but it should not be on the basis of self. Goals have to be on the basis of likes and dislikes. But having decided what you want to get, the goals, the same idea in the mind is called a desire. The same notion in the intellect is called a goal. Right? So if I want to make a lot of money and I'm craving to make money, this is a like and dislike, this is a craving, this is a whatever, greed, this is a desire, it's a like and dislike, all these words. Now, the same desire that I want to make a lot of money is in the intellect. Now, what has happened to that desire? The desire is, now you will say, okay, I want to make a lot of money. What is that even supposed to mean? That means I have to have a turnover of 100 crores in the next 3 years, right? It's the same desire. But now this desire is in the intellect. That means you have a particular point to reach in a particular period of time. You have a plan of action. You are able to execute that plan of action. All this is in the intellect. So if by that you mean, after all, my goal is something I liked, then that's correct. But the like means the thought is in the mind. Is that clear?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So that's it for today then. We'll continue next time. Hari Om.
Pariyam Janakshi, I wanted to make an announcement.
Yes.
Yeah, hello everyone. I suppose you all are all members of one of the class WhatsApp groups. So we are doing a brief, we need some feedback from you all, from all the students who are attending Janshiji's classes, so that we can better, serve you, in the sense, provide material that's useful. So that link has been shared on your class community or WhatsApp group you're in. I request you earnestly to fill it up as soon as possible, because we need to process that data. So in case you don't have the link, it should be there. I've seen it on all groups, but you can contact Bharat. He will let you know where you can get the link. Thank you.
And also, by the way, tomorrow is the talk on relationships for